Welcome to Redtastic. Story 1. A few months ago, my sister, 28 female, was diagnosed with stage 4 ovarian cancer, and although we tried our best and she fought a good fight, she did not make it. It's been a terrible time for me since we were like best friends, and she's all I had. My sister had started life insurance a few years ago, and last year she made me the sole beneficiary of it due to circumstances so at her death. I was left with $300,000. I used a part of the money to clear up what was left of her medical bills and to pay off some loans I took for her funeral expenses. Losing my sister is the worst tragedy life has hit me with. It still feels like a terrible dream, and I wake up on some days hoping it's a nightmare, that she's still alive and healthy. On the day of her funeral, my sister's ex-husband, 33 male, came to pay his respects. After her funeral, he spoke about my sister's financial situation and asked if I knew anything about her insurance. I was too distraught to pay attention to him, and I politely told him to stop asking unnecessary questions when I'm still mourning my sister. He soon began calling frequently, claiming that he wanted to check up on me but ended up asking questions about the life insurance and if I got any money. Before her diagnosis, my late sister was married to the ex for 5 years. But she found out that he was having an affair with my sister's friend. She was even more broken when she found out that her friend's child was fathered by her husband. My sister divorced him and he moved in with his mistress. Before their divorce, he was the beneficiary of her life insurance. She removed him immediately after filing for divorce and made me the sole beneficiary. All of these happened last year. Now he has been asking why he hasn't gotten anything from my sister's life insurance. Since he was the beneficiary, he was not aware of the change as he felt my sister may have forgotten about including him or had left him as a beneficiary. I was getting annoyed by his constant calls, so I finally made him understand that he shouldn't be expecting anything since he was no longer the beneficiary, I was. He called again, this time begging for a part of the money because he was in a fix. According to him, he had lost his job a few months after the divorce, and he needed some money to feed his new family. He was hoping he'd get a token from the insurance and has been banking on it since he heard the news of my sister's demise. I was appalled by his insensitivity and callousness. He never spoke to my sister after the divorce. Even after he found out about her health condition, he made no attempt to reach out to her. I'm quite infuriated that he sees my sister's death as a means to make money and nothing more. I lashed out at him, warning him to never dial my number again. I called him a pathetic loser, a cheat, and a heartless traitor. I told him I hope he starves to death. I hung up on him and stopped taking his calls. Then he sent a message to me calling me cold-hearted for choosing to keep all the money to myself while his child suffers. He compared me to my sister, telling me that my sister would have forgiven the past and offered to help because she has always been a tender and kind person. I told him that I feel no pity for his situation and he has always struck me as a sleazy person who depended on my sister's goodwill while they were married. I told him to stop calling me because he wouldn't be getting a cent from me. I'm still galled by his heartlessness and his temerity to demand a share of my sister's money. Now, I feel like I may have overreacted and I want to know, am I the a-hole for refusing to help him? Update. Thanks to everyone who contributed to my first post, my sister's ex reached out again with a pitiful sob story, begging that I help him because he has been suffering since he divorced my sister. I told him he deserves worse as his karma for taking advantage of my sister's tender nature and betraying her trust in the worst way possible. My sister suffered because of him, so I do not pity him and have no plans to help him now or in the future. Also, I warned him to stop calling or texting me, and I blocked him everywhere. I'm so sorry about your sister, OP. May she rest in peace. I'm so glad she was smart enough to remove her ex from her insurance. He doesn't deserve any part of that money. He's a jerk and a heartless a-hole. He not only cheated on your sister, but he was still banking on using your sister's money to feed his new family after her death. None of your sister's money should be given to him regardless of his sob story. He's only getting some of the consequences of his actions. There is more to come for him because he's so cold-hearted. Story 2. Throw away because I'll probably be the a-hole and I don't want to get threats on my main. I'm 24 female and my friend Cami, fake name, is 27 female. Don't know if this information will make any difference, but just in case. All the other friends are in their 20s as well. So about 2 or 3 weeks ago, Cami lost her house. The rent was just too much and she had to move to a smaller place. She didn't seem that upset about it though, especially because she's single and the downgrade didn't cause a huge problem with lack of space and whatnot. The thing is, my husband and I have been working on building a dream house for us and our future family for a long time. Our friends know about this as well, so when we finally got all of the work done, we really wanted our friends to see it, especially since they are like family to us. We're not that close to our actual families, so our group of friends, including Cami, became our chosen family. So I was the one to propose a really fancy housewarming party so that we could share this milestone with our friends. I sent out invites and was really excited. 2 days after I sent out the invites, Cami came over. My husband was at work, and she said she wanted me to call off the party. I was confused but willing to change dates because I thought maybe she was just busy that day or not well. She said that me showing off my house when she just lost hers was a cruel move, and that if I went through with it, she would feel embarrassed. I told her that we had been waiting a long time for this moment and that we couldn't just call it off. Despite calling me cruel, she wasn't shouting or even angry. It was a civil conversation. I told her if she needed another week, I could do that and change up the dates. But she said it would just be better if I don't throw a party at all. She said it was very trashy to brag and that it makes us, my husband and I, look cheap. I told her she didn't have to come then, and she just mumbled something that I couldn't hear and stormed out. We still threw the party, it was fun. But the next day, 2 friends told me that Cami had texted them and told them about why she was not there, and they told me they agreed with her. They said it was an a-hole move. Our other friends, along with my husband, think there was nothing wrong with it though. So here I am to get the opinion of other people. Hope you can help me decide if I was right or wrong. Not the a-hole OP. You have worked hard to achieve it, and it's nice to want to share a milestone like this. It's not your fault your friend had to move to a smaller place. You were willing to accommodate a date change, but someone else's misfortune does not mean you can't celebrate your success. Everyone needs to live within their means, and she was obviously living somewhere out of her budget. She should be happy for you as a good friend, but instead she decides to let her jealousy and anger almost ruin your happiness. If she's a really good friend, she would apologize to you for that. Now for some comments. Not the a-hole. Why does she claim she lost the home? You stated she was renting and the landlord raised the rent. All she did was make a sensible move to a place she could afford. That's a move. She didn't get evicted. She has issues that you don't need to be involved in. She had to move to a smaller rental because she couldn't afford where she was, something people do every single day. She didn't lose hers, she moved. I guess if she actually got evicted, that could be upsetting. But wouldn't downsizing due to finances be a cause for relief? And how is throwing a party cheap? Or does that mean tacky? She's not homeless for heaven's sake, not the a-hole. It's okay to be upset, it's not okay to take it out on someone else when they announce good news. Last year, I lost a job before I could start it and was left unemployed. I was finally about to move out after years of setbacks, including injury that left me housebound for months. So of course that couldn't happen either. Then a relative called on the phone to announce their engagement, as well as discussing how their new house was. I congratulated them, then left to go to my room and cry. I never made it their problem. Sure, I was happy for them, but that doesn't mean I couldn't be sad about my own circumstances. It just meant I kept my problems private instead of crapping all over their happiness. Story 3. It's last Friday night. My wife and I run a small mom-and-pop restaurant in the US. We are always busy on Friday nights. When we are filled to capacity, we have 300 plus in our restaurant. We welcome people and groups from all backgrounds and all walks of life. We do not discriminate against anyone and take care of every customer like they are family. We are mainly a chicken and seafood grill. We serve other items, but our main selling point is our hot wings and shrimp. There was a family that came in last week from out of town with a special needs child. He was being very loud the whole time and screaming. I politely asked the family if they could calm him, as we were filled to capacity and the screaming was disturbing half the guests in our restaurant. He calmed down, then about 5 minutes later, he started back again, except this time he was cursing and screaming racial slurs at an African American family sitting behind them. This is where I drew the line. The mother was distraught about it and apologized profusely, but I couldn't let them stay. I asked them to leave, though I did give them 50% off their meal. I don't feel like I should have. I let the African American family eat for free and gave them a voucher for a free order of hot wings, which they said they would use soon. My thought process is, they were using slander and racist slurs against a large percentage of our clientele. I couldn't have that. Am I the a-hole? My family tells me that I singled them out and embarrassed them in front of everyone. But if this was a national chain they were in doing this, then they would have been kicked out immediately with no exceptions. Now for some comments. Not the a-hole, you offered 50% off their meal and had them leave. You made the choice to either make one family leave or have the rest of your clientele leave, and you made a smart business move. Not the a-hole. Some of your customers would have been offended either way. It's just a tough situation. Honestly, if I had a kid with behavioral needs such as that, I would have ordered to go. And I know it must be really tough having a kid that makes it difficult to socialize. I think you gave the family enough chances and then found a peaceful resolution. Definitely not the a-hole. I sympathize with the parents of the special needs child because that's a tough road to travel, and I'm in no place to judge. However, as a parent, I firmly believe there are behaviors that are absolutely unacceptable. Period. End of story. And racial aggression is one of them. If the parents were going to tolerate that and just hope others would forgive, that's inappropriate. And it's absolutely appropriate for you to intervene. The parents need to learn that can't be tolerated.